Hi folks, Creepy Puppets here again. I have not been updating this channel very regularly, have I? Well, unfortunately, I've been going through some pretty intense life changes and challenges, but my life is finally starting to, I think, get a little bit more even keel. And so I hope to be able to go back to producing regular content on this channel. Thank you for sticking around with me anyway. I did want to give two brief updates on my life that I think are really progressive on a personal level. Like, they've advanced my life to some degree. So you may remember that I made a series of, two videos, right? One was a Thanksgiving special, and one was a review of Avatar: The Way of Water. And in that, I gave a bit of my own family history, which I will recount incredibly briefly now. According to family lore and some reasonably strong circumstantial evidence, I was told that my father's mother was Native American, specifically Cherokee. And I said that I felt conflicted about this because I didn't know for sure whether or not I was indigenous, but that I had certain complicated feelings about colonialism. On the one hand, I referred to sort of the Marxist analysis on colonialism, and on the other hand, the way it affected my family hypothetically, personally, and that I just frankly hate the noble savage tropes that the first Avatar peddled. I think the second one was a little bit better. So I was hesitant to claim any kind of indigenous identity because I didn't want to be accused of a pretendian. At the time, I couldn't prove it, and I had been told that other people who had tried to prove it either failed to find documents, or said documents were lost, or had taken a DNA test that showed no Native American ancestry. Well, it took me a while, but I found my great-great-grandmother on the Dawes rolls, including not just her, so it's not a coincidence, but her father, her grandmother, her siblings, her cousins, her uncle. 3 generations and more of my family are on the Dawes rolls. I was able to use this information to reconstruct a genealogy of my family, and it turns out we are not merely Cherokee, but Old Family Cherokee is a term that some people use. So these were families in the 1700s. Typically, they were white men who married Cherokee women and produced children of mixed race who were able to take advantage of that status to receive Western educations and become sort of the most elite class in the Cherokee Nation. And they all intermarried with each other. And I am descended from at least 2 of them, the Downings and the Welches. Chief Lewis Downing is my second cousin 7 times removed, as are the Rogers chiefs, as are the 2 Welch chiefs in the eastern band of the Cherokee. If you're familiar with the Rogers name, yes, the legendary actor and comedian Will Rogers is my 3rd cousin 5 times removed. All the documents exist. I am ready whenever I choose to apply for Cherokee citizenship. I'm almost certain to get it. I don't need to on some level. I only cared about sufficient legal proof, and I have that. Beyond any reasonable doubt, I am, in fact, Cherokee. And look, I know I am so white I'm practically a mirror, but the family history that I was told turned out to be true. And so if anyone out there wants to call me a pretendian, they're welcome to pound sand. I'll make my great-great-grandmother's Dawes Roll registration number available to anyone who asks privately. I've settled the issue from my mind. I'm much more confident in my position on, why I was offended by the noble savage stuff in Avatar, or why I have such a complicated relationship with colonialism. But on the one hand, some issues are settled. On the other hand, other issues have just come about. I've found out through this process that I'm related to a Confederate general. Old questions of identity are beginning to settle, and new questions of identity are beginning to rise. And I don't know how to think of myself now. It felt like, on the one hand, a great burden was being lifted from me because I was who I thought I was. But on the other hand, I feel like I'm different now that I know my whole family history. Let's put it that way. So there's definitely going to be some identity things to process, and I think that I do eventually want to become a citizen of the Cherokee Nation just to, complete this coming out in the most open and official way possible. I've been thinking a lot about Martin Luther's idea of sacramental union, rather than the Catholic view of transubstantiation, where the bread and wine of the Eucharist literally become the flesh and blood of Jesus. Luther thought that it was sort of like the hypostasis. Just as Jesus was supposedly fully God and fully man, so too was the Eucharist, both fully bread and fully flesh. Jesus wasn't 50% God. He wasn't some blood quantum of God. He was fully God and fully man, according to Christian theology, as was the bread and the wine. So I think I have thought of myself as, maybe I don't have the outward appearances of indigeneity, but I have the essence. I'm not, 50% this, 50% that. I am 100% indigenous and 100% white in the sense that meaningfully matters. I haven't acquired perhaps the accidentals of Native American identity, but that can come with time. The other thing, which is related to what I just said, is that I have become increasingly persuaded by Lutheranism. I got confirmed in a Protestant church, in the Episcopal Church, and I have been recently attending an evangelical Lutheran church in America church. And so I think, my interest in powwow folk magic, the Pennsylvania Dutch culture I grew up in, has sort of finally pushed me to, I would say, an even more important cultural identity than my Native American one, which is I am comfortable now identifying as a Lutheran Christian, and I'm actually even thinking about receiving ordination. The truth is that I was just miserable doing what I used to be doing, and my true interests have always been philosophy, theology, comparative religions, magic, and I feel like there's more academic space to explore what I want to explore in seminary than there ever was at secular university. So, yes, my ethnic identity has become more sure, and my religious identity has become more sure, and my path forward, I think, has become more sure as well. So, thank you for letting me rant without a script. I'm trying to get better at that. I guess I have to learn to give sermon extemporaneously if I'm going to go become a minister. I should have some more videos for you just as soon as things settle down just a bit more. But thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for the support I get, especially in the comments on my Scooby-Doo videos or my videos about autism or whatever. I mean, I feel like this has largely been a blog about me exploring my own complex identities and finding a way of framing it philosophically for the purpose of an audience. All right, well, I have to get going, but I want to thank you so much for sticking with me and for sticking out this long. Please have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.